Welcome to the Water Trough, where we can't make you drink, but we will make you think. My name is Ed Drozda, the Small Business Doctor, and I'm really excited you chose to join me here as we discuss topics that are important for small business folks just like you. If you're looking for ideas, inspiration, and possibility, you've come to the right place. Join us as we take steps to help you create the healthy business that you've always wanted. Welcome back to the Water Trough. This is Ed Drozda, the Small Business Doctor. I recently had the pleasure of being joined by two guests. The first of these was Paul Cronin. Paul talked about the resistance that people have to planning their exit strategies from their business. And the second guest, more recently, was Chris Shea. And Chris Shea was talking about retirement, more specifically about whether or not we're fit to retire. And I thought today would be good for me to talk about my own personal situation. After all, each of us is heading in that general direction. I've recently hit the age of 69. I will be turning 70 this year, 2023. I'm going to start by saying I cannot believe that that is coming, but yes, indeed it is. But most importantly, I'm faced with that conversation about retirement. What does that mean? What am I going to do, and how is that going to look? I have to tell you, I'm one of those people that is not particularly enthralled with hobbies. I'm not a hobby guy. I read a lot of books, but I wouldn't call that a hobby. Quite frankly, I am not one that has big designs on what I'll do with my time in full retirement. In fact, I'm inclined to believe that retirement, for me, is probably going to be pretty much a non-starter. In other words, I'll keep working, making time to travel with my wife when there's that opportunity to do so, and doing things that we can both enjoy. We are making some big steps. For example, we're currently in the process of building a new home in the area outside of Wilmington, North Carolina. We are both avid fans of the beach. This particular community is on the Cape Fear River. And for those of you that ever saw the movie Cape Fear, I can only imagine what that brings to mind. I hope it won't be quite that peculiar there. But in any case, moving to a new location, leaving behind the home that we have shared for many, many years, raising two children here, and maybe more specifically for me, a place where I've lived for virtually all but 8 of my 69 years. Not this particular home, but this particular area, New England. And all of these things that are conjured up, all the things that come to mind, it really is quite interesting. I'm sharing my story not so much to give any suggestion as to what it should be. Of course, that's the nature of my podcast, not to tell you what to do, but to inspire you to think, but to share with you the fact that the idea of retirement is not necessarily very easy for some of us. As my guest Chris Shea pointed out, retirement is not just about money. Financially, we're in a good position. I'm grateful that we are. There are vastly more important things than money when all is said and done. Needless to say, you need to have money, but there is so many more things that go into consideration with retirement. So here we are, for example, looking at this move to a completely new location. And for me, that's a scary thing. The idea of leaving behind that which I've known, that which I'm very comfortable in. I can pretty much get around blindfolded. I have my friends here, my friends elsewhere as well. And I might add, fortunately, also in Wilmington, North Carolina area. There are so many reasons why staying would just be so easy to do. Of course, I hate the notion of moving. The idea of moving is absolutely terrible. But then again, for the first time in our lives, we have the opportunity to build a new home from scratch. And scary as that sounds, it really is quite an exciting opportunity. I remember when I was 12 years old, and my parents built their first house, or the first house that they built from scratch, and all the work and effort that they went through to be able to do this, the back and forth with the builder, with the designer, The day after day visits to what was once a sandlot with large pine and oak trees, all the things that went into building a home. Now, at the age of 12, I didn't really appreciate what my parents were going through, but in hindsight, I think I could sense that they were both excited and somewhat terrified at the same time. And feelings like that are striking me now as we go through the process of making selections. For myself, I try to stay as far as I can as possible from those things because, quite frankly, I am not really sure that I will be comfortable living with the decisions I make when it comes to things like that. I'd rather acquiesce and let Debbie pick those things out for the most part, but I do have my say in those things. But you get the idea. Leaving behind that which we have known, leaving behind the comfort, whether retirement takes you someplace new or retirement keeps you where you've always been, but with different roles and obligations, it is a major life change. Now, naturally, being financially equipped and able to retire is critical, and I would encourage anybody who is in the very early stages of their career to keep in mind that it's never too soon to start preparing for retirement. In fact, the sooner you start to prepare, the better. But when the time does finally come, for me, it's turning out to be an opportunity to do an inventory of what really matters to me. What do I believe is my purpose? What is my value? Some of the questions that come to mind are, this is that bridge that you ultimately cross over, after which you cross. Will I be the same again? Will I have value as I did before? Will I be able to find things to occupy my time? And will I be able to enjoy that freedom? Or will I be bored? Will I be lost in myself because I hadn't adequately considered what I could do? A couple short months ago, I quit my stint as an adjunct professor at a local business school. I did so because I felt that I needed this year coming up to prepare for the expected move in March of 2024 to our new home. And when I did that, I found myself feeling woefully undernourished, thinking, what have I got to offer anymore? Where's my value? Where's my purpose? Thankfully, I found that one of the things that really had been put into a state of quiescence, my business practice was reinvigorated. In the time that I spent teaching in school, I had to draw a balance between my coaching practice and my teaching practice. And I have been able to find, since the teaching practice has been in the rearview mirror, that there has been an abundance of new opportunity coming in with my coaching practice, for which I'm grateful. I'm not at a stage in my life where I want to go out and aggressively advertise or market myself, but it seems and it turns out that by virtue of all the effort and time that I've spent over the course of my 20 plus years in business, things are coming back to me now. So here's the bottom line. Retirement is upon me. Now, in my case, let me be clear, retirement does not mean that I will stop working altogether. In fact, I envision that I will probably be doing what I'm doing as the small business doctor until the age of 80. That is, God willing, if I'm able to do so. And if I do, I'll be quite content and happy to be able to do that. Of course, I won't have to do it on somebody else's terms. I'll do it on mine. The timing will be appropriate for me. The timing will be such that it fits into doing the sorts of things that Debbie and I enjoy. But it will be something that will sustain and nurture me from a standpoint of being of value. I also expect to spend more time in a volunteer capacity, being able to do things to support people. I've already identified a really amazing group down in Wilmington that has built tiny homes for homeless people. The Eden Village community has been designed to give homes to homeless people in the Wilmington area, people that did not prior to this time have a home, and give them an opportunity to return into society in a meaningful and purposeful way. So there are so many things out there, and I just wanted to share my own experience, or my own thoughts anyway. Needless to say, this is an ongoing story, and I know there's a lot more to come, but I thought it'd be nice to share with you the things that are going through my head, because I'm sure I'm not the only one that's feeling like this right now. So, my challenge to you, as I always like to do when I'm done, for those of you that are on the cusp of retirement, or in retirement, or contemplating retirement, I challenge you to take a good look at yourself and ask you what sorts of things you're looking forward to. Ask yourself the things that concern you so that you can confront these things and manage them effectively. In the meantime, this is Ed Drozda, the Small Business Doctor. I want to wish you a healthy business, and if this is where you're at, a healthy retirement as well. Thank you.